The famous Musar that you might have heard of about the discussion between the Tanaim on what the fundamental mitzvah in the Torah is. One says loving your neighbor as yourself. There are a few other opinions. And then there is the opinion of, I don't know if there are a few others, but there's at least one other. And then there's the opinion of the fundamental mitzvah is the regular sacrificial offering that we gave every single day in the temple, and after which the modern day or the post-temple prayers are modeled. And there's a famous Musar idea that based on this idea that the fundamental mitzvah, the mitzvah of all mitzvahs, is to offer regularly. It's to have a regular habit, atomic habits. It's a very powerful idea that when a person wishes to develop an element, a midah, a good trait in themselves, to have something that without fail, the temple offering was offered even on the Shabbat. Having a small but simple but regular habit can allow oneself to slowly but surely develop new aspects of their personality. However, there is a flip side to this, and I would like to talk about that tonight. And I was thinking about this as I was, I'm exhausted. I haven't been sleeping very well lately, and it's quite late now, and the Korban Tamid has been this video for the past almost week. But I've actually been working on developing a habit of cutting myself some slack. Now, the issue with a habit of cutting yourself some slack, the habit of mercy, is that it is irregular. It's very personal. It's personalized. It's situation-based. It's not gevura, it's not din, it's not justice. It's the combination of multiple elements of kindness and justice. And the combination, the fine line, is the real challenge. It's knowing when to push on the gas and when to push on the brakes. And it's having that refined feeling that has to be developed moment by moment. And this is the flip side of the Musar reapplication that we need to be aware of. It's a very powerful idea, this Musar reapplication. It's very useful, and it's very profound in its simplicity and potency. However, we must remember that the idea is based off of a mitzvah. And a mitzvah, like any other mitzvah, is and always was and always will be a means to connect. It's not a pill you take to develop a muscle or to become a tzaddik. The idea isn't to become anything. It's to be with. It's to connect. Really, the only reason the priests at the temple gave that offering every single day without fail was really essentially because that's what the Creator wanted. Our beloved wants us to give him an offering every single day. Well, then we're going to do that. There are many great things that we'll get out of it, but fundamentally, it's because he wants us to do that. And yes, it's the fundamental mitzvah, because it's a mitzvah that you can really look at as a fundamental connector with our Creator. Just like in a relationship, maybe just like, kiviyachol. In a relationship with a spouse, a regular date is a great idea. However, the difference is human affairs are human affairs. And there's a lot of, for us, I don't want to use the word OCD types. I don't want to, belittle the people who actually have serious obsessive compulsion disorder. But hopefully people will understand that I'm just saying that there is a compulsiveness that I believe a lot of us in modern society have developed, and I'm part of that. It's a compulsiveness of just wanting to be perfect. It's based on fear and shame. And in a sense, sometimes these atomic habits, these regular sacrificial offerings that we think we're giving, we don't realize that they can slowly become an offering to a false god of fear, of shame. And when that happens, that's when we have to say stop. That's when we have to say, who am I serving here? I'm not doing a mitzvah. I'm washing my car. I'm making a video. And yes, I told myself I'd do it every week at this exact time. And that's the moment you need to ask yourself, who am I serving? And it's funny because tonight I was so tired and I was just thinking, maybe I won't, you know what? I'm not going to do this video. Because I can sense, I've developed a little bit of more of a sensitivity of when I'm obsessing over something, when I'm doing it just to do it, And there is a time when doing something just to do it is a good thing, especially when you're doing a mitzvah. But there is a counterbalance to that some people might need. And right now, that's a counterbalance I'm applying on myself, which is, I'm not going to do it just to do it. I need to develop slack. I need to cut myself some slack. And so I said, okay, I'm not going to do it. And it was very hard for me. I could sense the resistance. I could sense the shame. I could sense the fear that it's a slippery slope. If I don't do it tonight, I won't do it tomorrow, and it will. And then this idea came up, and I just had to do it. And now I'm like, this isn't from a place of shame anymore. I want to do this video now. Now, to expect something like this to happen every night, I don't think so. However, in a moment like this, where I'm so exhausted, and I know I need to cut myself some slack, in a moment like this, the only justification I'm gonna give myself to make a video is if I really want to. And I really want to. So I'm doing it. Baruch Hashem. So to conclude like this. We Human beings are creatures of habit. And habit can be the most powerful device in growing anything, whether it's ourselves or a relationship. However, since it can grow anything, we need to make sure that it's not developing within ourselves a self-neglect, a total obliteration of our inner child. Because if we truly wish to connect, and that's really the goal at the end of the day, it's not to be better, it's not to be someone, but rather it's to make a connection. It's to be with someone, which is Hashem. It's to bring him down to earth. If we really wish that to happen, you can tell I'm tired. I lost my train of thought. I don't know. Something. I think you guys can maybe finish my sentence for me. I think it's something along the lines of, if we really wish to happen, then we got to make sure we're directing our habits to the right place. When it's a mitzvah, and it's going to be to the right place whether we like it or not. Unless it is done in a way that comes at the expense of another mitzvah or the will of Hashem, you know? Generally speaking, a mitzvah is a good thing. But if it's to just wash, the car, clean the dishes, cut yourself some slack. Sometimes when we've accumulated so much muck and mire between us and ourselves, we're gonna have to cut ourselves a lot more than just some slack. So, I'm not a therapist. I need to say that. And get a therapist if this really, really, really resonates. That's the number one thing I can recommend. Because to balance this balancing act, we need help. We need an outside source. We can't lift ourselves up by our own bootstraps all the time. That's what we've been trying to do for way too long. So I think I'll end with that. You need therapy. Cut ourselves some slack. Let's make that not an atomic habit, rather maybe a quantum physics habit, because it's unpredictable, it's alive, it's sporadic. And that is what the Torah of life is all about. Maybe not being sporadic, but being alive. God bless you all. And let the good news come.